Toyotaro is the modern Dragon Ball mangaka and one of the head honchos, or at least the middleman, in the Dragon Ball Super hierarchy. He is somewhat divisive amongst fans, as some see him as unoriginal and too nostalgic, not really trying to innovate and adapt to modern Dragon Ball tastes, while others do enjoy his enthusiasm and see him as a fellow fan. But some may argue that now, after nearly 10 years in the job, he's no longer a young artist, and that some of his now seen mistakes are inappropriate, and been the representative of the Dragon Ball Super manga for so long as well. And we're not here to pass judgment on the man. Today, we'd like to discuss his monthly project, Toyotaro Drew It, which he does on the official Dragon Ball website. It is actually a pretty good site, to be fair, where he posts a picture of a character, often from the expanded Dragon Ball world, so you don't just get the same ones time and time again, and he makes a small little comment about it. The canonicity of these are debatable, though it is more or less accepted as Toyotaro's headcanon, and sometimes a reference to what could be expected in the mainline story eventually, as all discussions of canon in Dragon Ball are shaky at best. Now, big thanks to Kanzenshi, by the way, for the excellent translations from the likes of Herms, Seiya Jedi, Sailor Spaz, Cypher, and Zenpai. The first one was released on December the 17th, 2017. Let's take a look. Hachan Ayata, aka Artificial Human number 8. The artificial human's love of nature is inherited from him. Or so I personally suspect. It'd be nice if he gets another chance to shine. As rightly commented by the authors on Kanzenshu, Ayata did appear in episodes 65 and 66 of the DBS anime, or at least his future counterpart did, and he was basically just a singular frame. He didn't really move. It was just a glimpse, like I said, but it was good to see him again and that he existed. I think you all know how much we love Ayata on this channel. You can actually check out the latest episode of R&R to see our take on him. So with very cute reasons, we thought it'd be good to start the collection off with him. The next one is this one, and it's another gold one. Lunch-san, where are you now? Dragon Ball is still going on, so come out quick! I don't think we have to tell you how much we adore the character. Although there is something slightly off about this picture. It's hard to pinpoint what exactly. Still though, we do agree with Toyotaro. We wouldn't mind at least a small appearance from her in Super, as we discussed previously a while ago, when we kinda dealt with the myth of Toriyama forgetting things, as there is a lot of misconception about that chestnut. The next one might as well be canon. You are certainly gifted. How about entering the next Tenkaichi Budokai? Huh? Me? It's King Chappa, what I think he looks like now. Maybe King Chappa was the one who trained Oob until he turned 10. Their clothes look similar, so I figured they came from the same region. While Toyotaro's reasoning is kinda shaky, two similarly dressed people don't really need to be from the same region, you know? We do like the idea of King Chappa being Oob's first mentor. He was pretty awesome in Dragon Ball, even though he still got bested by Goku and fairly quickly to boot, and it would tie nicely to the original days of Dragon Ball, and giving the reincarnation of Kid Buu even more grounding in the world. It's Tambourine. In the anime, he has the same voice as Frieza, Ryusei Nakao-san, one of my favorite voice actors, the OG Krillin killer, voiced by the same person, who looks pretty cool in that modern redesign, I gotta be honest. I would love at some point to see that treatment for more of the Piccolo siblings, or even see a flashback. I forgot how cool they were when they first appeared. It's Manwolf. Drawing the Manwolf fighters from Universe 9, I started wanting to draw him. I wonder if he had any success picking up girls after becoming human. Oh, wow, Toyotaro. I didn't know that this was the main thing Manwolf was concerned about. Honestly, we would be more curious if he stopped, waving knives at people in martial arts tournaments. You're not really supposed to do that. Did you know he actually had a lookalike that appeared in the BoJack movie, by the way? Well, I mean, this one was more than happy to be in his wolfish form, to be fair. It's not a character from the original comic, but here is Tapion. I simply find him cool and I like him a lot. I'd love to see him play a bigger role. If not in the comic, then in a game or something. Tapion was cool, but he always felt like he belonged in a different fairy tale. And honestly, the Wrath of the Dragon movie came out in the same year, 1995, as Chrono Trigger. So perhaps Toriyama was on a roll with this type of character, so he thought he just translated to Dragon Ball. He actually designed Tapion and opposed him being called Tapioca, because in his mind, the pun was a little bit too on the nose. Toriyama does have his limits. It's hard to disagree, and weird to see Toriyama being angry at something not being subtle enough. Janemba, one of the 3 popular movie villains next to Broly and Cooler. It's Janemba! In advance of the latest movie opening in December, perhaps I'll go on drawing movie characters for the most part. We've been covering Janemba in greater detail in some of our videos, but needless to say, he comes from my favourite movie, Fusion Reborn, and arguably does add a lot on the top of the trope of villains based on other villains. The next character needs no introduction though. It's Broly! Everyone recognises him as the #1 movie character. I'm looking forward to him cutting loose in this new movie. The picture here is of his design from the first movie. I mean, we could see that he was really excited about this movie. And honestly, we all were. And the best thing that Dragon Ball Super Broly ever did was warming us up a lot toward Broly and really giving the Broly skeptics some reassurance. Though, of course, you should never forget about the character's roots. The next character though is a little bit more obscure. It's Majin Ozotto. Apparently Toriyama-sensei designed him for an event, but I don't really know that much about him. He's a cool looking character though, so I look forward to seeing what he'll do next. Allow me to enlighten you, Toyotaro. Ozotto was created as a main villain for the Dragon Ball Z VRVS game, which stands for Virtual Reality Versus, an arcade game. His lore is practically non-existent though, he's just a big bad. He comes to Earth to fight the strongest warriors, and has the ability to mimic every enemy in said game. Where I heard that before, He also does have a small role in Super Dragon Ball Heroes' manga during the Prison Planet arc, so he does make a cameo. It's Captain Ginyu. Apparently he ended up in his current form after changing bodies a bunch of times, so it's fun to imagine what he might have originally looked like. And see, that's not so obvious, Toyotaro, as some sources do use this horned appearance as Ginyu's original form. So until we get an official confirmation, this is just a playful idea by one of the creators. It's Son Goku's father, Bardock. He'll be in the movie in December too. I'm really looking forward to it. Well, the artwork itself is pretty cool, but still, I do think we've talked a lot about Bardock recently, and Toyotaro, the Granola Saga, maybe we'll just we'll move on. Now the next 3 entries are a smorgasbord of underappreciated characters. It's Paragus. The Broly movie will be opening at last. It's the tops for fun. By all means, please see it at the theatre. Honestly, we do enjoy this version of Paragus more than the original one. Although by the end he is bitter and violent, you can totally see the reason for his downfall, and the design of his older self is quite cool as well. Very underrated character. Now we've had many people commenting, oh, Masako and Haverock really love King Cole, and you know what? We do, we really do. We really wish there was some more stuff about him revealed in any shape or form, or maybe different transformations. We kind of agree with Toyotaro on this bit. It's Frieza's father, King Cole the Great. He appears in the Broly movie too. I'd like to see the forces he led in his era as well. You know, you can make this happen, Toyotaro. Give us some cold goodness instead of Bardock flashbacks. There's been an order to return home, so Bardock and I are about to head back to planet Vegeta. What about you guys? A return home order? Wait just a minute. We haven't heard anything of the sort. That's because you're all about to die right here and now. After this, they lost contact with Toma and co. That is the event that caused Bardock's suspicion of this return home order to grow ever stronger. It's Pumblekins, Cellular, Totapo, and Toma. It seemed that these 4 were involved in the background of the Broly movie. Or at least that's how I imagine it. Yep, you can actually see them in the background of the movie, which means they still do exist. Bardock's squad is still canon. Good news for every fan of this squad. Also, no, we are not calling her Fasha. We are pulling a Toriyama on this one and not going for the popular demand name. She is Cellular. A planet just exploded. It couldn't possibly be Planet Vegeta, could it? Oh no, dear, let's not worry about that. Instead, let's go find a planet that we can make into a vacation home. It's Onio, who appears in Neko Majin. Once again, I went and imagined him being involved with the Broly movie. Including animations and spin-offs, the Saiyans who survived that day are Goku, Vegeta, Nappa, Raditz, Broly, Paragus, then Tarbell and Turles, and furthermore, Onio must have also survived. Hey, cool, it's Onio. Nice, we lately used this lovable goof in our What If Goku Had a Sister trope, where he was slightly, less lovable. But still, we do wonder if we're ever going to see him crossing into the main continuity. This is Shirasu. He's the boss character in Super Dragon Ball Heroes World Mission on the Nintendo Switch. I'm looking forward to playing it too. Oh look, hey, it's hit with tentacles. Sorry, we meant Shirasu. Totally, yeah. We remember how this guy was called without even having to look. Also, he totally didn't steal Cooler's fifth form in the process in his chess piece. Yeah, that's the nicest thing we can say about him. Honestly, there have been better video game villains in the history of Dragon Ball. It's the Great Saiyaman! Recently, he's more commonly shown up wearing sunglasses only, but I love his helmet look too. So I'd like to see him play a part looking like this as well. Hey look, we're simple people. We see Great Saiyaman in his full attire, we're happy. That's all we need. It's such a shame that we never saw him again in the superhero movie. Feels like a wasted opportunity, you know? No! No! What is it, Lord Guru? Toyotaro Drew It. Oh, neat. Hey, it's Nail. If he hadn't been defeated by Frieza and then merged with Piccolo, he might still be living peacefully on New Namek. He may very well be the single greatest sacrifice. Well, no, Toyotaro, that bit goes to Android 16, as we know that Nail is still kind of around, at least according to the anime version of the Tournament of Power. It's still one of the best scenes in this section of the anime though. It's the Carrotizer Bunny, Monster Carrot. He was taken to the moon by Goku as punishment for his behavior, and that moon with him on it had been destroyed twice. I don't know whether he's alive or dead at this point, but I'd like to see him use not just his technique of turning those he touches into carrots, but maybe his skill of being able to survive out in space to maybe help Goku and co. You see, not only we are wondering what's happened with Monster Carrot, even Toyotaro's wondering. Also, I love the name Carrotizer Bunny as an alternate. I forgot that was his Japanese moniker. Oh, it's Zabon. As I'm sure you're well aware, he's Frieza's right-hand man. The concept for these sketches is characters who don't appear in Super, but, to make a shameless plug, he'll actually appear very briefly in the bonus comic from Volume 10. But at present, he hasn't appeared yet, so this is his last chance. That bonus that Toyotaro plugged, by the way, is actually telling the story of Cranberry's escape from Namek and what he then goes on to do with Moro. And yeah, it's merely a cameo, and Zabon is not the most important character here. But hey, it's nice to see him after all these years. Pui Pui. He's one of the mind-controlled underlings of the sorcerer Bardock. Since he was taken in by his wicked heart and mind-controlled, there's no doubt he's evil. But given Bardock could control someone with only Vegeta's level of evil, maybe he wasn't such a bad guy after all. Incidentally, he appears in a single panel in Volume 3. I don't think Pui Pui's ever looked cooler than that. You know, we actually kind of liked him when we first saw him. That's why we used him in the two-parter of Revelation F Season 1, voiced by our good friend Sophie B. We do disagree though that he was ever a good guy though, and we've decided to make him a bit of an a-hole. Though soon, his homeworld is a pretty fascinating subject for us. Slug. He survived by escaping from planet Namek, whose weather had gone haywire while still a baby. What sort of relationship did he have to Katats or the eldest, I wonder? I'd like to see a story from that era as well. Honestly, we would too, man. We would too. I mean, we might have a chance with the recent influx of Namekian lore. That would have been pretty awesome. Now, as you can tell, there are quite a few of these with some very fascinating insight, which we shall show you more of next week.